Well, good morning, cruise peeps. I just have a little bit of news for you today. This is what's been happening in the last 24 hours or so. From here on out, I'm going to do a video every morning, and then we'll do a longer one on the weekend, or maybe even a live stream. But for today, we have three big stories. Storms are rerouting cruise ships along the East Coast due to hurricanes Humberto and Imelda, and these cruise ships have been steered toward Canada and New England instead of sailing to Bermuda or the Bahamas as planned. This includes the Carnival Pride and the Norwegian cruise line Escape. I can guarantee you people aren't happy about that one. Hurricane Humberto has pretty much fizzled out by now, but Imelda is still going and is right at about a category 2 right now. Those who were diverted to Portland, Maine, were met with a funny sign that I had to share because it made me laugh too, welcoming them to northern Bermuda, which I thought was super cute. Those who were diverted uh, saw it, and one cruiser said they thought it was very thoughtful for them to greet those who were diverted. The sign is strategically placed just prior to the security check before reboarding the ship. Maybe it would have been better to put it as they're getting off the ship, being that it's a welcome sign. But either way, it was a cute idea and super funny, and I liked it. We have a carnival guest complaining about the specialty dining charges and how you have to pay for them in advance. Um, they reached out to John Held, who is Carnival Cruise Line's brand ambassador, to express their outrage. And I have a comment at the end of this. Let me just tell you what they said. They said making us prepay for dinner at the steak restaurant is nothing but the money grab. It shows you do not trust your customers, the guest claimed. You need to stop this policy, and there needs to be flexibility. Uh, I'm not John Hild. Of course, he's much nicer than I am, but I would remind that cruiser that restaurant spots, specialty dining spots, can be limited on board. They're not as big or vast as the main dining room, and it is a specialty experience, which means a much smaller venue. And if you are a specialty dining connoisseur like I am, you know that those book up quickly. And even on some ships, I've noticed on Royal Caribbean, sometimes all of the dining options will be booked up even before you get on the cruise, because people do a lot of that before they go, before embarkation day. Um, what I would recommend to somebody who doesn't like to prepay is that wait to book it until you're on board, because if you are on board and you book it, you don't have to prepay. You pay at the end of the meal, at least on all the cruise ships that I've been on. I've been on Carnival, Princess, Royal, and MSC, and that's the way that I have seen it done. And what I would say is that, booking it beforehand is you're securing a spot. And just like a hotel reservation or even your cruise reservation itself, you have to put down money to hold that spot. And that's basically what they're doing with the restaurants. So, again, if you don't want to prepay, then just wait till you get on board to book it. And there's that. John Hill put it on Facebook to get people's opinions on it, and it didn't look like they had a lot of support from the whole Facebook community at large. So there's that. MSC cruise ships are shortening ports to avoid rough seas up in the Flam, Norway area. This is the MSC Arabia's current 7-night voyage, and they're going to have to cut that 1 day in Flam short. So the change was made to avoid the worst of the strong winds that will impact the journey's vessel back to Kiel, Germany. The MSC ship may still encounter some rough seas. The pools will be drained, and guests will be encouraged to be extra cautious during the final leg of the voyage. It can be really difficult to walk around on deck when a ship is being tossed around like that. The winds, they're saying, could reach over 50 knots per hour, which is 57 miles per hour, and that will impact the final port of call of the voyage, which is scheduled again for Flam, Norway, and that will be today on October 2nd. So sorry, everybody who's going to be in that port. They're shortening your stay from 11 hours down to 6.5 hours. May not get to your full excursion depending on what it is. Some of them may be canceled, but it's still enough time to get a look around if you've never been there. Royal Caribbean unveils new tropical ferries for the first Royal Beach Club. Each double-decker ferry is going to be equipped with advanced navigation and propulsion to ensure smooth rides, so not like your traditional ferries, not as bumpy. Uh, It's going to give quick turnaround times for the most efficient transport possible. This will give guests the maximum amount of time to enjoy their exclusive beach days without overcrowding or delays. The ferries will stop at both Chill Pier and the Family and Party Pier, so guests are brought right to their destination of choice from the ship. The ferries will be owned and operated by the Bahamas Transport Logistics Company, and it's going to be a 100% Bahamian owned company, so it will not be owned by Royal Caribbean. Currently under construction on Paradise Island, just across the harbor from the Nassau cruise docks, is the new 17-acre beach club that will offer multiple options for cruise guests with the Chill Beach, Party Cove, and Family Beach. Carnival Cruise Line will base the Carnival Venetia at the Port of Miami starting May 2027, and it will go until April 2028. This is a move that cuts out her traditional summer season deployment to New York. The Venetia will sell 6 and 8 day Eastern, Western, and Southern Caribbean cruises from that South Florida port. The moving to Miami, they're saying, creates more choice for the guests with longer itineraries to the most popular Caribbean destinations and adds a new flavor of fun with our Italian style experiences, said Christine Duffy, who's the president of Carnival Cruise Line. So that will be fun, having a different style of ship. Port of Miami is kind of busy. There are a lot of cruise ships out of there, so variety is definitely nice. A lot of the big ships sail from Miami, so it'll be nice to have more of a midship uh, option there if you're the kind of person that likes that, which I tend to be. So that's the cruise news for today, and we will see you tomorrow.